When the music's blasting and your head's kind of hazy, you might think to yourself, those dudes over there are taking shots like they're nothing. I want to hang with them, not these lightweights. You might repulse at the idea and push away, but eventually you begin to let your body lead. As you shuffle towards the floor, you are stumbling and grinning like an idiot. All you have in your mind is having a good time. You are unaware that drinking can have a drastic toll on your body. It's unfortunate, we get it, but drinking can and will make you lose control. Imagine not having control over your body, just a soulless puppet guided by strings. Imagine having other people take advantage of you. You can end up doing things that you would never in a million years permit to. I was a witness of such an event. An older family friend back in my hometown, where underage drinking is common, had a tad too much to drink. He started to talk all the gibberish and nonsense, spitting all these derogatory terms and secrets. Keep in mind that since this is a family party with young children involved, on top of the vivid, explicit remarks, he began humping the table and disgustingly moaning his lungs out. Children, alongside their parents, were startled and began to question his mentality as for his overall well-being. Now, I want you to imagine, once again, a situation much grimmer than of my family friend, a case involving something sinister, perhaps rape. Now imagine if family friend was a teenager, someone who just came up to age and had been under influence. Experts warn that the teenage brain simply cannot process a large quantity of alcohol. The brain does not stop growing until the mid-20s, and is one of the first regions of the brain affected by alcohol, and affected most dramatically is the area responsible for judgment and decision-making. Think of all the mistakes a teen might make, all the ways he or she could be messed up. The fact that drinking is a frequent action amongst teens, an action that entails so much hazard, should be enough to assert that drinking age should not be lowered to the young age of 18.
America's drinking age is a very controversial topic, with many arguments for either side. While our goal today is to convince you that the legal drinking age should not be lowered, we believe that you should know the arguments of those that believe otherwise. Understanding the opposition's views is critical in an argument, as it helps you know what points to argue to effectively convince the opposition. Out of all the arguments for lowering the drinking age, there are three arguments that seem to be brought the most often. The most prevalent argument for lowering the drinking age is that 18-year-olds are adults and have the right to do what they desire. Many cite the fact that 18-year-olds are allowed to serve in the military and die for their country. They then ask, why can't they have a bit of alcohol? However, they conveniently ignore the fact that dying for your country is much different from dying at a party after you do much. Not only that, but they advocate the belief that a high drinking age causes a sense of taboo about drinking alcohol. Supporters of a lower drinking age often say that the taboo around alcohol encourages underage drinking because many young adults believe that doing taboo things gives them a rush as they break the law, as well as believing that doing so will make them look cool or popular. Finally, supporters of a lower drinking age state that since the drinking age is a very easy law to break, it is very frequently broken by many, especially college students. This frequent violation of the law leads to a growing sense of disregard in the law. It desensitizes them to breaking the law. These arguments are all very important points, but this topic is not so black and white. There are many negatives to a lower drinking age, and the negatives far outweigh the positives.
According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, drinking and driving crashes claim more than 10,000 lives per year, contributing to a cost of over $52 billion annually. I know, and you know, that people are dismissal. They refuse to accept that alcohol consumption is one of the underlying causes of deaths and damage in America. You've probably heard something along these lines. Oh, come on, it's a bit. It's not going to do any harm. It's only that 1% that messes up for everybody. They know what drinking entails, yet they still get drunk. Yet they still consume those intoxicating liquids. Yet they still go to those bars. Yet they still take in those same poisons that cause them to crash. Yet they still are ignorant to the fact that accidents will happen once they leave that hazy happy hour. Alcohol diminishes your ability to think. More specifically, it proves detriment to your motor skills. Your hand, eye, foot coordination, your sight, your movement. Once those aspects of yourself become faulty, you can easily be led into an unavoidable, impending, harmful situation. But let me get to the reason we came here today. The fact that the true lurking in the dark issue lies within the underage drinkers of America. You know that look: white tee, ripped jeans, swamp hair, hammered face, red ears. Research shows that drivers between the age of 16 and 20 are 10 times more likely to be involved in a fatal crash than a driver at the age of 21 and above. Young drivers will still swerve and swivel and stop abruptly on a straight street without sipping a single sip. Do you really think they can handle driving straight under influence? And what's greater is that those same young drunk drivers drink without thinking and impact the people around them more than they impact themselves. Take George Martinez, age 18 for example, reportedly drunk driving down a residential street at 3:15 a.m. Martinez lost control of his Nissan Maxima and incited a rollover collision with a Toyota Camry, killing a 34-year-old driver and putting his own 17-year-old passenger in a critical condition. The 34-year-old Tarek Hamid was an expectant father, just another man looking forward to seeing his wife and his newborn son. His life just shattered. For Martinez, it might be a few months in prison, maybe even a few years, but for Hamid's wife, the clutching sorrow holds on for eternity. So it brings me back to the point that morally, drunk driving cannot be seen as anything but negative. And scientifically, drunk driving cannot be seen as anything other than blood alcohol concentration, or BAC. The U.S. considers driving with any level of BAC above 0.08% drunk driving, and with anything 0.02% above that, your body takes its toll. The drinking age in America should not be lowered, and it's simple really. Once you drink, just don't think. Thank you.
The legal drinking age was enforced to protect those under the age of 21 from the negative consequences of underage drinking. Underage drinking can lead to higher risk of homicide or suicide, brain damage, and alcohol poisoning. As Tony said, drinking under the age of 21 leads to drunk driving crashes that often claim lives. According to the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, alcohol also interacts with conditions such as depression and stress and contributes to suicide. Binge drinking is very dangerous, as it can lead to alcohol poisoning. From the year 2006 to 2010, alcohol poisoning claimed the lives of hundreds of teens. Because alcohol is a central nervous system depressant, drinking too much, too fast, slows some bodily functions, such as heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing, to a dangerous level, causing the drinker to lose consciousness. Teens in college often participate in binge drinking while at frat parties. Earlier this month, a freshman at LSU named Maxwell Groover died after being forced to drink alcohol by fraternity members during a hazing incident. In Louisiana, a person under 21 with a blood alcohol concentration over 0.02% is considered legally intoxicated. Groover had a blood alcohol content of 0.49%. Because the brain is still developing in the mid-20s, drinking alcohol can cause irreversible damage. Alcohol also damages the nerve tissues and affects memory, attention span, and the ability to comprehend information. According to research done by neuroscientist Susan Taper, girls who engaged in heavy drinking during adolescence perform poorly on tests of spatial functioning. The legal drinking age is enforced to protect those under the age of 21 from drunk driving and brain damage. To continue the trend of reduced drunk driving, suicides, and alcohol poisoning, the legal drinking age should remain at 21 years old.
Drinking is not something necessary in our lives. Yes, you can probably have the best party of your life drinking that shot of Hennessy or drinking that glass of vodka. However, give yourself a second to think about it. the alternatives. Couldn't you do something more productive with your life rather than just getting wasted? As both Tony and Krista mentioned before, underage drinking can often lead to fatal car crashes. According to Scott Mogul, an expert on underage drinking problems, about 31% of all fatal car crashes amongst teenagers are caused due to the driver being under the influence of alcohol. Think about the things you could change by not being part of that 31%. The influence you can have on your community. The lives you can change just by not getting seduced by alcohol a little too early in your life. According to Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, the teenage years are a time of not only physical, but also mental growth. The time you build your scholastic, your communication, and leadership skills. Why would anybody want to disrupt that process? To put into perspective the controversy on this subject, you could consider comparing carrying a gun to drinking. Both require commitment and extreme nonchalant actions that are proved dangerous to a certain extent. To that I say, people might ask, why can someone partake in the carriage of a gun, but yet still be advised to never drink? To that I say, carrying a gun in the military requires extreme, excessive training, and in most purposes is used to protect. There's no way you should compare carrying a gun to just carrying around a bottle of booze. Now, think back to the story about Reggie's friend. Is that what you want to happen to you? He had no control of himself. Are you really willing to give up self-control for that one drink just for some street cred? You can choose what you are viewed as, all by avoiding that one single drink. This is Ahmed.
This is Tony.
This is Reggie.
This is Krista.
This is Ben.
Thank you.